Responsibility, definitely. The number one thing. When I was single, I was worried about myself. Not like in a bad way, but it was, I gotta eat at this time. I gotta do this. Had a few bills, had a few responsibilities. But when you're married, it's like a totally different. You're not just responsible for the home. You're responsible for each other, and not just naturally and taking care of and providing and going to work and doing extra side hustles, but spiritually too. I'm responsible for the spiritual climate of the home. If anything's going out of whack spiritually, he talks to me about it, which is good and bad. And so it's awesome, and yet at the same time, it's a big responsibility.
How do I handle conflict? Well, I must say, well, it all depends on what the conflict is. Definitely the most important thing is to talk about it, whatever the conflict is. And truly, after 10 years of marriage now, probably the beginning probably wasn't as easy, but now it's much easier. Is to talk about it, get everything in open air, and squash it. After that, we talk about it, and then come to a conclusion, and everybody make sure everybody's happy. That's it. Now, it wasn't that easy at first, but yeah. Now that we know each other and kind of know everybody's likes and dislikes, and she knows me very well, and she probably know what ticks her off and stuff. So.
I'm adapting. I'm learning how to solve conflict. The first person I go to is God. A lot of times I try to separate. If a conflict arises, I try to separate myself from it and separate my own desires of what I want, and say, wait a minute, let's see what he's saying first. 9 times out of 10, I try to listen to her, and I try to be there for her needs. Sometimes I can't always do what she needs, but not 99 or 90% of the time I try to my best accommodate, or we come to a compromise. Don't go to bed angry. Don't go to bed with any conflicts. Make sure we're always praying together. And take it one day at a time. So.
No, because first of all, he's not like a type of husband, like you do this or do that, and like, domineering. That's a good word. He's not domineering, so he's a very easy, laid-back person. So it's not like, I know when he tells me like something, or we're not going to do this or that, or we're, like, at the time, I know it's for the best interest or whatever. It's not that he's trying to prove that I'm the head of the household, and because I said it, then you can't do it. No, he's not like that. And so it's very easy. Like, whenever he says something, or we're not doing this, or we can't do this at the time, I'm totally fine with it, and I don't have a problem with it, because it's not in his character to try to, make me feel like, oh, you're the woman, so you have to subject yourself to me. So,
No, and I think one thing that always helped me out was I've always respected my father as the head of the home, and I felt like I always knew that Daddy is the head of the home, so I will always, like, whenever my dad would say something or whatever, I always would try to be, like, almost submissive to him in a way. So when, Mark came, one thing about it is I was really, really scared, because I would hear a lot of people say, man, you gotta submit. That's gonna be rough. That's gonna be the hardest part. Yeah. But for me, that hasn't been a problem at all, just because I have a husband that's just so loving, and I want to be at his feet. I want to make sure that all the responsibilities for a wife, like, I try to take care of him as far as in, my place as a wife as much as I can. Like, I never want him to say, like, oh, I'm hungry, or my clothes aren't clean, or, and I know, it's more to being a wife than just that, but it's not a problem, And he lets me have a voice as well. It's not like, if it's something that he says, and I'm going to say, hey, do you mind if we talk about it? Because I just think it can be done this way. He's like, sure. And we talk about it, and sometimes, he'll say, hey, let's do that. And if not, then understand that he has the, the best mind. So, has the best, what am I trying to say? Not the best mind, but, like, he knows what's best, so.
And that was, side note, that was one of the things that attracted me one of the things that attracted me the most. Not just her independence, but the fact that she did love her dad so much. Because, you know, a lot of, hey, I'm saved, little girl, you know, girls running around the church, but then I'm looking at the relationship they have with their parents. I'm saying, wait a minute, something's not lining up. And so I figured the way she just dotes on her dad, she'll dote on me the same way. I don't have to force nothing. I don't have to try to pry my way in, and I don't have to be her Holy Ghost. Everything just flows. It's just chill. We're best friends. So.
Oh, that's oh man.
It's the word that's in your head now. Say it.
Oh man, she's a lot. In a good way. I remember we just had Valentine's Day dinner, and I was describing her a lot to my friends. And I'm trying to see what word I can use. But basically, I mean, oh man, it's not awesome. It's not great. Those are good and nice words. But she is, I mean, just perfect. I mean, just perfect. I love this. She does a lot for me. I mean, she does. She does a lot. If I could just say a little bit, I was a single child for a long time, and my mother spoiled me. I was a spoiled brat, and maybe a little bit of that might have carried over into marriage, just a little bit. But my wife, I mean, she literally spoils me. I mean, I mean, I can't explain it. I mean, if it wasn't for her, I tell all the time, I don't know what I'd do. I really don't. I don't know, because I'm very, I don't know, I've always been dependent, but definitely my wife she's a perfect, and like Pastor was preaching this morning, all of us needed help, and definitely this is my help. It's needed for me.
Because he's in it. Seriously. I've been through like a whole lot of just abnormal stuff in my life. And so to get through that, you know, I had my husband. I don't know what I would have done if my husband wasn't by my side. Like, I don't know how I would have made it through just different things that's happened to me if I didn't have my husband, because he's just been that person, that go-to person, just everything. So my life is a lot better because he's in it, basically. I mean, that just sums it up. To say everything.
If I could change one thing in me, I'm very laid back. I'm very nonchalant. So if I could change that, sometimes when we're doing things or trying to rush, I'm not the one to, you know what I mean, pick up the pace or get real emotional, because I'm just laid back, and sometimes it might get on her nerves a little bit. You know, come on, let's go. But I'm just I'm a little chill. So if I could change that, I would change that just to make her happy, because you know,
He is laid back.
I would probably come into marriage ready to. I think I will come into marriage searching for, ready to be more open, I guess. What I think what I did not realize about marriage is it really shows you your true self. You know what I mean? The things you like about you and the things you don't. And I think sometimes when you're single, you're set in your ways. A lot of times this is, you do this every time, a certain, you know, I do this, I eat at this time, I do this at this time. And I think if I've been, you know, ready to be more open, then some things I probably would have learned a little bit more easily. So I'll probably say that. The first thing is, you know, being married. Like I said, there are going to be some differences. And so I think the most important thing is to keep it between God and each other. You know, I'm a type of person, I'm very close to my parents, and so whenever I had a conflict when I was single, I would run to God, but then right after that I would call my mom. And, you know, because I felt like she could solve my problems. But in marriage, you know, we may have a small little conflict or, just like a little disagreement. But when we go to God about it, and we go to each other, God just solves it. And He's the best person to do that. And God won't judge you or anything like that. So I would say that stay faithful to God. Pray for your spouse. Your spouse, goes to work and different things that they go through, different things in their mind. Pray for them, because you never know what somebody is going through. Another thing I'll say is honesty. My husband and I, we are very, very honest. We don't have any secrets. We're very personal. And the last thing I would say is just spend time together. We're newlyweds, so we're not rich or anything, but we go on mini overnight trips, and we still have date nights every single week. And sometimes we'll just be at home playing a board game or just singing or something, but it's just good, and it draws us closer together. It's really important for single. I know I kind of spoke to single girls before this, but I understand now why it's so important to marry somebody that's really saved. Because sometimes when you're interested or you want to court, you really just you're ready to court, but you don't really know how spiritual that person is, because you just see them at church. And at church, everybody is spiritual. But we had so many conversations about, what do you want to do for Christ? What are your goals? How long have you been saved? And the reason why that's so important is because when you do get saved, you're going to go through a lot of things. We've only been married for 6 months, but there are times certain bills had to be paid for. Just certain things. I was sick, or he was sick. We did not know how in the world God would work it out. We literally got on our knees and prayed. And when I say every single thing that we went to God about, He's worked out. It's like I said, we've only been married for 6 months, but we probably could honestly write a book of how many miracles have happened. Wow. It's crazy. But I think it's because we're on one accord, and we truly, truly love God. It's not because of other people, or we've been through a lot, and we've only been married for 6 months. But I think it's really important to please make sure that. Because once you get married, honestly, it's not going to matter how cute they really are or how much fun y'all have when y'all go on dates. What's really going to matter behind those closed doors is that you have somebody that loves God. Because, you can still stay married if you don't, but it just makes it, I believe, personally, probably so much easier to have somebody that you're in connection with.
Keep God number one, and everything else. When you have God, at the top, everything else is going to fall apart. If you have those different disagreements, or because there are going to be disagreements. You're two separate people, and you're not going to agree on the same thing. Women don't, always agree with what the man thinks, or vice versa. So when you have God first, and you're making sure you're praying and having your devotions when different things do come into your marriage, you're able to get through them, because God will give you the wisdom to say what needs to be said, or to not say what needs to be said. And so you have to just keep God first in your marriage, and everything else is gonna follow.
It's kind of an example that the guy who was courting, and Pastor showed us on the paper. He drew a triangle with there's 3 sides of it, or 3 points on a triangle. My wife at one point, I'm at one point, and God was at the top point. It keeps us connected. Definitely, that's important also. A lot of people, I've met someone recently, so they got divorced after 3 months. But that's unheard of. But when you live with somebody, see someone every day. If you don't love that person, it's going to be difficult to live with them. But if you truly love from the heart, that genuine love, and you care about them, and whenever she going through something, you feel it just as if you're going through it too. Because we're one. Definitely. So that's important. Make sure she's your best friend.
Connection with God is number one, because otherwise you won't. You will either be behind in some things, or you'll be too far ahead and trying to work things out that's out of your control. Number two, it's okay to be poor. It's okay not to have any money. It's perfectly fine not to be able to do this on this occasion, because not a lot in the bank. Those are the times when, if you take you by the horns, you can be the most happy, because it's just me and her, me and your significant other. Enjoy every single day, because it goes by quick. When we were recording, we tried to the best of our ability. We had a lot of drama going on the outside, but we tried to the best of our ability to enjoy every single day, but it flew by like that. And now we've been married 6 months. just like that. So time goes by almost seemingly too quick. I saw this come to mind.